Writing a resume for a teaching position, Part 1. Your resume is typically the first impression that you make on your potential future employer, so you want to make sure that it is an accurate and impressive representation of who you are. An employer generally spends only 30 to 45 seconds scanning over the resume. You thus must make it easy to read, with your qualifications easily visible. Although there are many different formats and templates that are acceptable to use, the key thing to remember is that your resume is professional and neatly organized in clean, even columns, making it easy to read. You may create your resume with a simple word processing program such as Word, or you can use the many templates that are available online. Remember, though, that even though there is no set resume format and some of the headings may vary from resume to resume, there is certain information that should be included on your resume. Your name. Your name should be indicated at the top of the resume. It should stand out in some way. You may bold it and/or use larger font to set it apart from the rest of the resume. A quote. Although a quote is not typically included in a resume, I suggest including one for two reasons. Number one, it is a succinct way of capturing who you are. Number two, it also makes you stand out because most people don't include quotes on their resumes. If you decide to use a quote, make sure that it is relatively short and appropriate to teaching. In addition, make sure that you include the author of the quote. Contact information is next. You will need to include your contact information. Include your mailing address, your phone number, and your email address. Regarding the email address, make sure that it is a professional sounding email address. I recommend creating a professional email address that you use specifically for job-related correspondence. A simple one such as your first name, your last name @gmail.com, or whatever email account you use would be preferable. Separation between contact information and the rest of the resume. You might want to separate the information at the top from the remainder of the information on your resume. You can use a simple line or bar as shown in this sample resume. Objective. When you apply for a teaching position, you will probably be applying to a specific position number via email. If that is the case, including the objective is probably not necessary. However, if you do include the objective, keep it short and direct. If you are seeking a position at an elementary school, do not include the grade level, as in, quote, to include the position as to secure a position as a third grade teacher. If you are that specific and a third grade position is not available, you will not be contacted for an interview. Simply state to secure a position as an elementary school teacher. Education. List your education in reverse chronological order, which means list the most recent education first. Include the name and location of the educational institution, your major and any minors or certifications, an anticipated date of graduation, or the date that you actually graduated. Do not include your high school graduation. The next two sections of your resume are typically work experience and volunteer work/teaching experience. Work experience is any experience for which you get paid. Volunteer work/teaching experience is any work that you do for which you do not get paid. Internships would be examples of teaching experiences for which you don't get paid. In both the work experience and the volunteer work/teaching experience sections, you would do the following. List your experience in reverse chronological order according to the first date of the time span during which you served in that capacity. Then indicate the name and the location of the place where you accumulated that experience. Then state your position, such as retail clerk, server, teaching assistant, camp counselor, etc. Then using action verbs, state some of the things that you do or did in this position. Bullet points are recommended here. Be careful of the verb tense you use. If you are still functioning in that position, use verbs in the present tense, as you can see here. If you are no longer employed in that position or serving in that capacity, use verbs in the past tense. This concludes part 1 of resume writing.